Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video I'm going to be looking at Freedom of Information Act request that was successful with regards to FINRA, and this is going to look at some important emails. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a summary of what was found, potentially what the implications are, and also going to be looking at some reactions and also some opinions. So before we get started with that huge news, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the weekly watch list. So exclusively available to the Discord members. One of the calls that we made last week was BRDS. That was up just over 86% on the week, so congratulations to everybody who got in that. TRKA, that was up 14% on the week. Another good call was CURV, that was up for about 44% on the week, so congratulations to everybody in on that one. RCRT, that was up 4.5% on the week. SURG, that was up 4.2% on the week, and MANU, that was down just about 5.7% on the week. So not all calls are successful, but if you'd like to get the next watch list, details are available in the description below. So let's start by giving a shout out to Howard, also known as Mike Alex 543 on Twitter, and this is a US Army retired vet who's looking at FINRA, OTC, SEC, so a great member of the community. Special thanks to Howard for this. So let's have a look at his tweet where he shared information about the Freedom of Information request here. And some reactions to Howard quickly here, saying what he said here is, all is good, I understand being paranoid about any information, apology accepted, we are all in this together. So Howard is now being called a national hero thanks to you and your actions and rightfulness. You only got 2 emails from the Freedom of Information request. We're going to have to look at this in more detail. So Howard has said above is a piece of the puzzle so everyone can see. So before sharing some reactions and opinions with regard to the emails, I'm going to start by having a look at some of the emails in question. So again, special thanks to Howard here. I've highlighted some of the areas that I'd like to first of all focus on. So this first email you can see here highlighted is dated Friday, December the 2nd, 2022. So you will know that this is before the U3 halt. So the highlighted area here that I've seen is FINRA's market fraud investigation team recently received several tips that appear to have been sent to the SEC. So this email, obviously, just to clarify, these are internal emails between FINRA members of staff. They're also emails between FINRA and the SEC. So that's the first one. We're going to go and dig a little bit deeper in them shortly, but let's look at the second email here and point of interest. And it states here, some of the areas are blanked out, but it states here, first of all, subject is FINRA operating status 1 of 2, large number of complaints on social media and directly to FINRA related to a trading halt that we issued on Friday. So this is the first of all dated December the 11th. So this email is after the halt. So what they've said here, it includes threats related to FINRA in general. And it also states to certain of our employees, asking our team to work from home tomorrow and the rest of the week. So this is from Robert Cook. Robert Cook is the president and CEO of FINRA. So he is well aware of the situation. He is well aware of what the community are doing, and he is well aware of all our actions. And I'm sure he's well aware of much more. The next one email I'd like to focus on here from the Freedom of Information request is from Sam Draddy. Again, this is Sam Draddy from FINRA. So let's have a look at the highlighted areas, copying in Richard Boyle from FINRA, copying in Jay Gibson from FINRA. The highlighted area that I've looked at here is, again, before we look at that, the key date, December the 5th. So again, this correspondence is before the U3 halt. So the MMTLP matter has now hit my fraud team's radar screen and seemingly a lot of other screens as well. So this is very important email. We're going to dig into this shortly. Was wondering if it makes sense for my fraud team to have a conversation directly with you and your folks working on the matter, so we are not duplicating efforts. We are looking at the two issuers from a fraud manipulation angle, and in fact blue sheeting both MMAT and MMTLP as we speak. So they are actually here, what it looks like is talking about things that before they publicly happen. So they're talking about fraud. This is well in advance of hashtag FINRA fraud. There's well in advance of any allegations of manipulation and fraud, because on December the 5th we were not aware of any fraud, but it looks like FINRA were. What I'd now like to do is go through 10 points that I've summarised after looking at the reactions, the emails and the thread. So again, special thanks to Howard, Twitter handle MikeAlex543. So these are the 10 points that I've picked out. So I'm going to start with number 1. First of all, this freedom of information request appears to be a smoking gun. Definitely that's my opinion. I believe that's also the opinion of John Berder. We can also see what is important is blue sheets were pulled on the 5th of December 2022. We have requested these blue sheets. We are requesting these blue sheets. So FINRA requested them internally, looked at them. I'm sure the SEC will have looked at them as well. So that is huge. Number 2, we have proof of email communication between FINRA employees and the SEC. So this freedom of information request confirms that that was taking place. They knew what was happening way in advance of everybody else. Number 3, FINRA is alleging fraud before the U3 halt and before hashtag FINRA fraud, which I stated earlier. Number 4, I think this is very important, and they're looking at the two issuers. So that's stated in the email thread as well. And my point of view, in my opinion, is the two issuers are the market makers involved. So I'm going to say that the two issues are not Torchlight Energy, they're not Next Project Hydrocarbons, it's not Meta Materials. The two issuers are the two market makers that we've been talking about for a long time. And the reason why it is the two market makers is because it is from a fraud and manipulation point of view, as stated in the email. Nobody is certainly alleging that Meta Materials was involved in the fraudulent creation of MMTLP, because that would be not fraud. If you are creating it, then it's your ticker. It's not fraud. So it can only be fraud if the company creating MMTLP is not part of MMTLP. So that is logical sense, and that cannot be denied, in my opinion. So that has to be very clear. So this is obviously manipulation from the point of view of 5th of December before the U3 halt. So I think what's interesting here is FINRA must have seen evidence of fraud before retail knew. So I'm thinking that this fraud was potentially confirmed by looking at the blue sheets. So FINRA have seen the blue sheets. So let's look at number 5. So if they knew, so obviously the consequence of that, if they knew about the fraud on the 5th of December, did they let it continue to trade to help the hedge funds, market makers, broker dealers and shorts to drive the price down before the U3 halt? So did that take place? It's for now, it's a question. It's not proven, but it is certainly looking highly likely. Number 6, due to excessive shorting on the 7th and 8th of December, it makes sense that market makers would have known in advance about the U3 impending halt. Broker dealers did not enforce hedge funds to cover, which should have happened according to securities legislation. So we know that didn't happen. So were they given a free rein? These are all questions that need to be asked. They need to be asked by Congress, they need to be asked by courts, they need to be asked by media, they need to be asked by all social media personalities that are looking for fair and transparent markets, not only for retail but for everybody. We only want a level playing field. Number 7, FINRA tells employees to work from home due to alleged threats. I'm not aware of any alleged violent threats. If there are any, then let's have a look. Or were they just given a week off to work from home? So certainly FINRA is aware that investors are angry. We have lost huge amounts of our investments, but so many people have also lost every single penny that they had. So there was a lot of anger, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm not aware of any threats. So if there were any threats to specific individuals, then yes, of course, that is incorrect. It needs to be looked at. But if there were any threats, then FINRA, well, why were the police not informed? If you are saying that people are threatening people, then surely you need to call in the police. That was not done. Number 8, if FINRA and the SEC knew about the alleged fraud and manipulation well in advance, investor losses, jobs, businesses, pensions, families could have been protected instantly. So we know that by having a look at these allegations of fraud well in advance of the U3 halt, we know what happened to the price. It went down, 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 down. But you knew about some alleged fraud well in advance of it going down. So that is a very, very important question. I hope the judge in Rosa's case and Richard's case and Alan's case is looking at this right now. Number 9, it's now up to honourable members, and I will also say honest members of the media, of the courts, of Congress, to implement positive change, speak out for the truth and justice to protect retail. Retail, especially the MMTLP community, are the best and strongest and most united community I've worked with. There have been divisions, that's natural, even families have divisions, but we all want the same outcome. And finally, number 10, in my opinion, right now, this is a smoking gun. This is going to lead to big changes, and hopefully these changes are positive. So before we look at some reactions to this breaking news yesterday, I'm going to just remind everybody in terms of who the key people in the correspondence are. So the first person we have in the important correspondence is Sam Draddy, and I can confirm that John Berder has looked into this to confirm that this person does work at FINRA. I think that's without a shadow of a doubt. So Sam Draddy is the Senior Vice President, National Cause and Financial Crimes Detection Programme at FINRA. At FINRA. Again, very ironic. And let's now have a look at the other person of interest and very important, and that is Robert W. Cook. Robert Cook, I'm sure you know that something is cooking now. So you are the Chief Executive Officer, President and the CEO of FINRA. You have huge responsibility. You are members of the committees. You have professional experience. So Robert Cook, things are about to get cooking very soon. So let's have a now move on to some reactions. So first from John Berder here, don't know who got this. Well, we're thinking it's Howard, but can you say smoking gun question mark? The blue sheets were pulled, they knew and halted because of what they saw on the blue sheets, copying in David Lauer, copying in Charles Payne, and time for FINRA to come clean. And yes, I checked Sam's work for FINRA as I've just stated. So one of my reactions here earlier after the breaking news is, in my opinion, I believe this now could lead to a flood of new cases against FINRA. It makes sense for FINRA to come clean, make changes, get rid of all the bad actors, and where there has been criminal fraud, there should be jail time. Most importantly, in my opinion, compensate all investors, especially for their financial losses, and compensate them for what they should have received if trading continued and if shorts closed their positions. What I'd now like to share with you is some excellent responses to this breaking news. So let's have a look at some of the responses. Some of these you may have seen, but some of you may not have. But I think they are all collectively some great responses and opinions to what happened. So first shout out here is to Colleen Tripp, and she stated here, holy crap, FINRA knew that there was fraud involved with MMTLP, and they allowed us to continue to trade for days before they then halted us. So yes, everybody knows what's going on. We know what happened, and retail know, the community know, and everybody knows. Dr. Stonk next shout out the FOI request at FINRA email thread proving FINRA saw the blue sheets and planned the MMTLP halt. We persisted, and soon we will persevere. Great job. So go ahead and check the website out, mmtlpresources.com. A great website there for all the resources and information. Next shout out here is to Costas GGK. Great DD always provided by Costas. Thanks to Mike, we have a smoking gun. FINRA fraud is real. They tipped off the big money buddies. RICO charges have to be coming. Give us our 2 days of settlement trading as per the SE approved S1. Enough is enough. We don't want 2 trading days. I'm sorry, Costas. We want 3 trading days and shorts to close their positions as per trading rules. So we don't want them to close at $2.90. We want them to close at our agreed sell limit orders. So we have to be very, very clear on that. And the next shout out here is to Crucial Mix. So he said here, hey Sam, financial crimes detection program, cool. His job was pretty easy. All he had to do was look at the mirror. I think I was confusing Sam Draddy with Sam Bankman-Fried, but what do they both have in common? Sam and Sam, both involved in we know what. So next shout out here is to Oracles. Again, Oracle's a great member of the community here, and he's just come out with the truth, and the truth is you lied. FINRA, you didn't U3 halt because of the settlement time, you halt because of the massive amount of oversold synthetic shares. You have ruined so many lives. Come clean now, and I certainly think that is the best thing to do. So 100% agree with Oracles. So one of the best members of the community with DD is certainly ProStreetArt. Go ahead and check out the channel. Excellent DD, outstanding research. So what ProStreetArt is saying is major development proof communication emails between FINRA employees. We're naming the names now. S. Draddy, Patricia Cassimates, R. Boyle, J. Gibbon, the SEC, FINRA, released via FOI request, halted MMTLP, and who got protected? The brokers. And the next post from ProStreetArt, again a great one here. Based on the date of the FOI emails, can we presume that the SEC Gov investigating with FINRA and others involved with MMTLP has been ongoing from 5th of December? Yes, we can, because that's what the emails show, meaning it's gone on for nearly 4 months, potentially from April the 5th or 117 days. We're looking at approximately 32% of the year. And next shout out here is again to a great member of the community. Shout out here to Richard Hoffman. He's an attorney. He's also taking Fidelity and FINRA and the DTCC to court. So check out his channel for that. It's called Not Legal Advice with a KN. So what Richard is saying is, Robert W. Cook, CEO of FINRA, your agency under your control is a disgrace. Resign today and come clean. And finally, next one here is a shout out to R0605, and he stated here, FINRA were concerned about their employees, but we're not concerned about the 65,000 shareholders that were hurt when halt the trade on the 8th of December. It is ridiculous. So I agree with that. MMTLP investors were the ones who were really hurt, who really were the victims of injustice, and they were the ones who needed protection. And my final shout out here is to my friend John Bowen, and first of all, his post here is prediction. So from John, number 1, resignations next week. Number 2, brokers will stop short selling of a few market makers and hedge funds next week. What question mark? Why? Because they are fixing to figure out the bomb has just dropped. Number 4, the destruction of this bomb, go Howard, is going on. So I think John raises some important points. I certainly will be looking at MMAT, hoping for a run next week. So let's hope John's prediction comes true. And the other thing I'd like to share with you, which is an important suggestion from John Bowen here, is something that he messaged me about. So I'm going to read out the final message I'm going to share with you in today's video from John Bowen, and he stated here, I know you've mentioned keeping records of these trades we are missing out on. So yes, I was mentioning that, and that was in response to Ham the Short Killer, so special thanks to Ham. If you helped keep us records of these great trades we made, it would be awesome. So potentially you could say, well, you know, I could have invested in Tesla at $106, sold Tesla at $212, and more or less doubled my money. So keeping a paper record of that is important. So much you could offer that as a benefit of upgrade membership. So again, referring to the Discord membership, I know I need to check my past trade records. Everybody can do that. Along with some others as to what has happened, what the best since the halt. Just a suggestion, great suggestion. It's a suggestion in line with what Ham the Short Killer is saying. And finally, John Bowen is saying there is no better time to stress how much we need to need this record keeping lost. The news will send people to jail. It will help resolve our monetary problems more quicker, or make another 8-year racketeering lawsuit when our record book brings out the best reward. So a great message there from John Bowen. And finally, I'd like to give a special congratulations to the MMTLP community for being united as much as we can, fighting together strong. We may all have differing opinions, but we are all wanting the same goal. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.